your...
Somebody needs to press the button.
There we go.
Who's pressing the button?
All right.
We are now recording.
I see that.
Oh, gosh, Chris.
Oh, God.
Chris!
Are you looking for the button there, bud?
Yep, I am looking for the button.
Chris!
Also, I'm not official yet until you guys vote. Does anyone contend with me taking attendance today?
No.
Have fun.
No
All right,
contention.
Royce Griffiths, you here? I sure hope you're here. You there?
Here.
Okay, all right. All right, Liz Stanton,
Yep.
you here?
Yep.
Make sure. All right,
Yep.
cool. All right, Ginger, Conrad, you here?
Hi.
All right. Jackson Wilson hyphen James. Is that official? Is that okay?
Yeah, sure, I'm here.
Okay. All right. Ethan Coppich, or is it Kopich?
I'm here.
Okay. Is it Coppich or Kopich?
Coppich. You got it right there.
Coppich. Okay, cool. Carl Craig, you here?
Here.
All right, just making sure.
I'm here. I don't have a camera, so you all just have to deal with my voice.
And our previous officer who is still here to assist us with this meeting too. Milan, you still there?
Here.
All right, cool. All right. I yield the floor, but before I do that, I want to go for secretary if no one wants to do a trial by combat.
Well, before that, I am going to open up the first meeting of the year for declarations of positions in the BOD as Monarch.
Sounds good. The floor is yours.
Any other individuals who would like to announce which position they are going for, please proceed after. We already have one for secretary.
Did you want to remind everybody what the positions are, or are we just going to call them out ad hoc?
Here, I will remind everybody. We have president, we have vice president, we have treasurer, we have secretary, and we have liaison.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Who
Well,
was last treasurer?
Andy.
Okay. So no Matt.
I'm actually gonna put my name in for treasurer.
Who was that?
That was me. Royce.
Theos is putting his name down for treasurer as he's interested in that. Is there interest in president?
I will throw my name in for president.
You sound so confident. I appreciate your vote.
I will throw my name in for president.
There we go.
There we go.
Once more with feeling.
No feelings here.
Oh man. Shucks.
This is official meeting, no feelings.
Ah, shucks.
Anyone
All
for
right,
vice president?
and vice president. Yeah.
Sure, I'll go for vice president.
I didn't actually see a light up. Was that
Oh,
Carl?
that's Ilian. Hello.
That's Carl.
Hi. Okay.
Copy, recognized, and recording.
Alien.
And then I will liaise, I guess.
Dashes down to liaise. All right.
Please make sure we get that contract out for the trailer.
Oh my god. Does that mean I'm the official sacrificial goat?
More or less.
We have on the floor treasurer, secretary, vice president, liaison.
Mm-hmm.
All in favor of that?
Oh, there's one more
Slate?
position.
No.
No.
Nope.
Oh,
We
there's
have
not.
Athena for alternate.
Oh, okay. I'm thinking of alternate. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. I was reading as I was process eliminating then. Thanks,
Yeah.
everyone.
Can we elect an individual to an alternate position when they are not present?
She already.
It's not necessarily an election internally for that position. It's the 6th highest votes when the votes came in with the election.
That is
So-
correct.
So
Just
that was
curious-
an automatic
just
position.
curious who got the most votes.
I will not divulge that information.
You will have to run for prime minister and then look in the back
Nope.
end.
Absolutely
And you
not.
look back through all of the information.
Will not.
$20 if you tell me.
I'm sorry, I cannot be bought.
I can, but it's a much higher price than $20.
I'll make someone 5 gallons of mead.
Oh,
That's different. We'll
that's
talk.
a different offer.
Okay, we should probably finish this vote before the primary starts.
No.
So our PM can be bought.
Also-
for prices.
Ethan, no, this isn't bribery. This is lobbying. This is
Oh,
politics.
right,
Come
right.
on.
Completely legal.
Yeah, there's no money involved.
There's
But we're not
nothing
river
wrong
men.
with
No.
it.
I'm not giving you money.
Wasn't
I'm just
the
giving you
Kapora
free
say we
things.
can't take
Exactly.
gifts over a certain amount. Jeez.
Okay, so this is what we have currently, and then we'll do a yay nay thing. Sebastian for president, Ilian for vice president, Theos for treasurer, Bear for secretary, Dash for liaison. Any questions, comments, concerns? Anyone strongly opposed?
Nope.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Probably record an official vote.
Yep. Are
I
you
have
able
a
to
piece of
record the
paper. Does that
chat
count?
for the meeting? Actually, yes, if you take a picture of that. But we should go individuals and make sure that we get aye votes throughout. So probably to start at the top of the list, if you want to start with anyone opposed to Ethan for president.
Nope.
I was paid off already.
We'll hopefully have that stricken for the record.
Dash! This is being recorded.
Do we have anyone that abstains from a vote for Ethan for president? All those in favor say aye or
Aye.
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 I love how it went to Ethan's camera out of everyone, just the most confident aye.
I do what I can.
Yep. And then down the list, we're going to go Carl. Anyone opposed to Carl Craig for vice president? Anyone abstain? All those that are saying aye.
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 Aye. We have a whole chorus going. It's great. Alrighty. I apologize. I have a different order for the list that I was writing down. Liz, who was next in your list?
Treasurer.
Alrighty.
Doesn't matter.
And it matters. You have an official document in front of you. Anyone opposing Royce for treasurer?
No.
Anyone abstain?
No.
All those that are voting aye?
Aye.
Aye.
Alrighty. And Liz, who was second to last on your list?
Secretary.
Anyone oppose Chris for secretary?
See anybody over there?
Oh my god.
See anybody over there?
Anyone abstain with the man with the flashlight? Don't do that, please. There might be individuals with epilepsy who will watch this meeting back.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah.
I apologize to the floor.
And then all those that say aye.
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 I myself.
Aye.
Aye. And then anyone
Yeah.
opposed to Dash for liaison? Anyone abstain?
Nope.
All those that vote aye.
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 Also,
Aye.
separate from the vote, Milan, you're jumping. I have not said that people are getting a credit for this meeting yet. God damn.
He stepped away. Sounds like it.
I love how he signed in the chat and then left.
I'm still here. I'm just working on stuff. I apologize. If you need me, just say something.
He's
Oh, no,
actually doing BOD work for us. So.
I know. So, since Milan brought it up, yes, if anyone would like to, they may sign in the chat and get a credit for this as an alternate Amp Guard day.
I knew I liked Kale. I always said Kale's a great monarch.
Yeah.
I haven't heard you say that once. No.
What a nice guy.
Liz, you know that's a lie. We know each other too well. Come on. No.
You're literally our best man at our wedding.
Kale's the best monarch of 2025.
Savage.
I mean,
Oh.
I'm in the circle of monarchs. There's some pretty cool people in there.
The Circle of Monarchs is so quiet.
Yes, it always is.
I was going to ask which circle of monarchs you were referring to.
The Facebook group that has so many past monarchs as well.
Yeah. But you're also in the ACOM circle of monarchs.
Yep. Alrighty. So, with that, motion to close the initial meeting of elections.
Seconded.
Second.
Thirded.
Orden?
And now I will leave it to our incoming BOD president to start the first and a half official meeting of 2025.
Perfect. Welcome, everybody. We'll split recording here and then resume recording here. Okay. So, I don't believe we actually sent out much of an agenda here. So, but we post. Oh,
I do have one. If you would like to borrow it, I can send it to you.
I could work. Otherwise, I've kind of got what we just kind of posted in the messages.
Okay.
Yeah, we didn't make it public either, so.
No, I pulled it from Milan's December notes and then added in the stuff that you guys messaged in the group chat.
Perfect. Well, let me see if I can just.
Let me see. Files.
I posted the meeting minutes in the Westmarch BOD Discord channel.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
That should get us something. Basic,
Download
hopefully.
that. That's not what I wanted. There it is.
I don't think those guests are here.
Okay.
Yeah, we will handle that in a second.
Liz just sent you an attachment.
That's the one that I made. I'm not offended if you don't use it. So.
Why did Facebook switch Messenger over to use Bing, of all terrible things? Oh, perfect. This looks
Facebook
fancier
did
than
a
mine.
lot of things recently that we're not happy about.
Okay, I'm going to stop sharing this and start sharing this one. And that should be prettier. Perfect. Okay, well, we can fill these things in. Oh, of course, now it is completely removed my view of all the speakers. So I don't know. I want to make sure I spell everybody's name correctly. So we chose, was this Carl correctly?
Carl with a K. Mm-hmm.
Okay. Treasurer Theos, Secretary Bear, liaison is Ginger Conrad. Okay.
I love how everybody else but me and Bear get their legal names there.
No.
Yeah, we're gonna make fun of your typing the entire time.
Hey, I ain't worried.
I mean, we could talk about, is this Griffin with an I or Griffin with a O or...
Well, technically it's Griffiths with an S.
And Bear, it's two P's, correct?
It's actually Chris Sapolu. But I'll take Chris that. But for the paperwork, you put Chris Sapolu. So Chris is in common spelling, and then last name Sapolu.
O-L-U.
Yeah, I'll put it in the chat too.
And you use Chris with the K spelling? Okay.
Sure, we'll do that.
And there's an S on the end of my last name.
Oh.
We got all the name stuff. That's why I'm laughing.
Yeah. Okay. So, the first thing is, should we have a reading of the minutes from the last meeting? The last meeting being the election. Then should we actually have a reading of the minutes of December?
December ones, yes.
Yes.
Seconded.
Let me go grab those real fast. Sorry, I've only been doing this job for a minute.
It's actually been 2.
Oh, okay.
Damn.
For all the viewers at home, if you're watching this great BOD meeting, stand by as we get things together.
We do not apologize for any delays. They will happen.
Okay, we are now on the December meeting minutes. Okay. The December meeting minutes. They started off with reading of the last minutes from the November reading minutes. They then did a California AmpGuard inventory checklist, which is now available on CA AmpGuard. Once we actually do an internal audit of all of our items, we can now post them there, which will be helpful, rather than it's currently being stored in the Regents folder on the Google Drive. But it's a few years out of date. After that, BOD nominations were announced. Various people talked about who was running and gave their spiels. We then reviewed a lot of the FOG final documentation reviews, although the final part was tabled for January. The things that came out of it was there was a bit of a lower turnout than expected. They are, as of December, they were still a little bit low on the dollar cost, and a couple of ideas were put forth about how to potentially raise the missing money. I'm not sure if Liz is going to be available today to talk about the closeout of this, or if that might be going into February. There was an additional discussion about directors and officers insurance, about would it cover Westmarch and other kingdoms? Can we get umbrella insurance? And we needed to figure out, how much liability, the number of people that were currently existing in the organization. I guess we should follow up on that because we're changing who's available to actually do this information. Should Westmarch have an emergency management plan? Milan volunteered, and then we fired Milan, so we'll figure that out as well. Do incident form. Then was there a question about, was there any movement forward on making an incident form? And we have a PDF and a digital submission form, and it looks like that's all done. And then it was tabled for January. Let's see. There was another thing. Was this tabled from November to November, or from November to December, which was the food safety requirements?
From November to December.
From December. So, okay. So they're talking about having a feast steward and potentially just having one item, one person fully vetted or something like that. And then there was the event audit form. And then they finally scheduled this meeting. Yeah, I guess we scheduled this meeting. And then they stopped the meeting. Are there any questions on the December meeting minutes? Shall we close and accept the December meeting minutes?
Seconded.
Seconded.
Perfect. Now, how do I switch screens? January. Accept. Okay, we should be back. My screen paused. Resume. Stand by.
It is at least back, or it was back for us.
Yeah, it was saying it was sharing the wrong one.
If you're home right now viewing the BOD meeting at this time, please stand by.
Oh, I see what the problem was. The problem was is I closed the wrong one.
Ah.
Okay. I should add Milan as a guest attendee. I should add Milan's real name. Perfect. And it's double L, isn't it? Okay. Okay, so I'm going to slot this in here as 1A. Read December minutes.
It's already above number 1, Ethan.
Never mind. We are going to call this 0 dot.
Item 0.
Item 0. Okay, now the January agenda. Congratulations, everybody, on the previous meeting that we just had 5 minutes ago about electing officers. Congrats. We expect good work out of you for the next year. I will try not to do too hard.
Woohoo!
Perfect. Okay. Second item on the agenda is the FOG final documentation review, which was tabled for January. So this is the need to add FOG inventories to the CAM card inventory list. There's actually a much larger thing here, which is just we need to generate this list.
That's a region's responsibility, yeah?
Yes. So it's a region's responsibility, or I guess they could appoint somebody to go help out with that. But the region is responsible for maintaining a list of all Westmarch assets and where they currently are. Change that color. The other thing is, Liz, did you get all of the final information you were looking for from Alan?
I have
No.
not yet, no.
Wasn't that supposed to be turned in with 45 days of the end of the event?
Yes.
You are correct.
So, what are our options here? We can give an extension and ask that it be completed by the February BOD. Technically, it's in violation of Kapora, so we could make it more official by asking for an Alding to give the extension just to clean up all of the stuff. It actually doesn't say, as far as I'm aware, in the Kapora what happens if they fail.
It doesn't.
I mean, they did the event, so
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Have they turned everything over besides the accounting?
The numbers just don't quite add up right now where, according to Alan, we lost about $100 roughly. However, in the bank accounts, the FOG account is over by 1,000. So that means we gained money. That could have been an accounting flub on my part. It could have been something on his side. He did also mention there were some people that didn't get reimbursed yet, but I don't know who they are. So Alan and I just need to connect on that.
I was also doing a quick audit follow through. And I noticed that Alan had said that there had been 149 people signed in, but we gave out 186 people's worth of credit. 186 people got signed in the org. So I'm curious where those 37 people came from. Now, some of those would be, volunteers that may have been given free tickets or something like this, but 37 seems large. Alan said there had been about 7 people who were, given tickets for volunteer work. So it sounds like there's a bit of discrepancy that still needs to be closed out on this account.
All right. Is this for trying to push in like maybe a time cap on this?
There's already a time cap on it. They had 45 days to
okay.
do the event
Reminder.
summary and turn everything over back to the kingdom.
Yeah,
and
so
no commitment.
This is the exact wording here from the Kapora, which is a complete accounting of income and expenses with all receipts shall be provided to the Westmarch Prime Minister within 45 days of the event. And then the maintenance of Feast of God's assets. There were a handful of items that did come up as needing repair, but I told Alan that I would handle it when I was the Monarch, mostly because we were now storing everything in the trailer and shipping it all back. So,
did the uniforms get put back in the trailer too?
Yes, all of the
items. That's right. They got washed.
Yes, they all got washed. There were a handful of swords that needed to get pulled out, and
I remember. Vaguely.
Yeah, and then we had asked about Dave Damos a list of materials so we could go out and purchase them to get the repair done. So, and that's still pending, but that one's on me. But this first one here about Prime Minister, complete accounting of the income and expenses within 45 days of the event. So there's a couple of different options. The nice way is, yes, we're all volunteers, and we just basically ask Alan to please try to get this in by next February. The other thing is we as the BOD could take a hardline stance and ask the monarchy to institute some sort of corrective action in the situation. It feels a bit above and beyond potentially in this case, but that is a possibility that could happen.
The only thing with that, because it ties into one of the later items, is it does go into the budget. We project this year's budget for FOG off of last year's budget. So by not having the final on that, it holds up the actual Westmarch budget too.
Yay!
Yes. Now, the bids for next year haven't come in yet. I haven't seen any, at least. I would be looking at the Monarch in the region
for
that.
FOG. I can tell you the numbers on one of the bids for FOG. It's 7,000.
Well, but I'm saying the bids, like, there's no been bid date or anything like that yet for any of those numbers.
So
So
for right now, I think the softer option is not bad, is we give Alan until the next BOD meeting that we will schedule at the end of all of this, of uh, giving him until that February date, or hopefully before that. Maybe we set his deadline a week before that so Liz can actually look over everything before she steps down, because, she will be stepping down,
Oh
or
my god.
yeah, or possibly a new PM coming in and watching over and seeing what happens for the next one. So I'd say proposal to give the autocrat until possibly just a few days before the BOD meeting. So when we do talk about it as final numbers, you also have time to look over that. So you're not being sent the BOD number or the numbers for the BOD the day of the meeting.
That would be appreciated.
Say proposed dates.
And I am
if we
going to
set-
jump very slightly ahead because just kind of quickly looking at the February calendar, kind of for these dates.
It's tight.
I'm looking at January, February. The 22nd, 23rd is the
Mid-rain.
mid-rain, which is when, Liz would step down and the new whomever steps up. So it is basically the last weekend in February. I would recommend that the BOD has their BOD meeting before that, so we can close all this and not pass a partially completed thing into the incoming PM.
So proposal to temporarily skip ahead so we can at least look at the dates for the February one so we can finish up this one.
Sure. Let me quickly add that into the agenda.
You guys want to have a BOD meeting on Valentine's Day or something?
No, I'll be at DungeonCon.
That'll be on a Friday, and we don't do Fridays. So how does everyone feel about February 19th as the last BOD meeting with the current PM right before mid-rain?
That works for me. Does that give us enough time?
I would have to check a handful of things. I wasn't prepared to jump to that just yet, personally.
And would we be inviting the new incoming PM, even though they haven't taken office yet, so that they could get a handle on it?
Yes, I was invited, so
yes,
it's helpful.
Agreed. I think the 19th is a decent target date to shoot for.
If we keep the same PM, it's not an issue.
I'm pretty sure she has said no. Yes, so please stop asking her.
So first proposal is the 19th for the next BOD meeting. Anyone opposed? Anyone have anything on that day?
Nope.
As I said, I'd have to double check my calendar real fast, but I think I'm available that day.
Because then we could give Alan the deadline of, say, 1 week before of February 12th, so that there is time to look over all of the final documentation before it is presented to the BOD.
Yeah.
Agreed.
Second.
Okay, so I guess we have a couple of different votes to happen here real fast. So first, a proposal has been put forward to the BOD to give the autocrat until the week before. I think this is looking like February 12th.
I propose we give Alan until February 12th to get us the final numbers.
Seconded.
Or FOG.
To give us the final numbers. Okay, so let's do a secretary. Can you do a roll call vote for us, please?
Oh, okay. Oh, cool. My mute's off. Good. Okay. Any order start?
Yep.
Okay. I'll go with the intense list I got here. Royce.
Aye.
Liz.
Aye.
Ginger.
Aye.
Jackson.
Aye.
Ethan.
Aye.
I say aye. And Carl.
Aye.
Okay, so the vote is 7-0-0. The ayes have it. Okay.
Okay. Unanimous.
Perfect. Thank you very much. Then the next thing, I guess we kind of jump forward, or do we want to get back to this later, which is, do we want to schedule the next BOD meeting vote now?
Schedule it.
For the 19th?
Seconded, scheduling it right now.
Yeah.
Just
Okay.
do it.
Let's jump ahead.
In agenda order.
Yeah.
I don't know what's happening with the numbers anymore. There was a 9, and then there was a calendar, then there's a 1.
Yeah, give me a second. Sorry, I'm having to proposal.
For those watching the BOD meeting at this time, please stand by as we get things together.
No.
Your
It was,
call
in
is
fact-
important to us. We will be with you shortly.
We're trying to reach you
Okay.
about your car's extended warranty.
There we go.
You
Liz,
guys
that
got
was
great radio
really good.
voices.
Can you tell I work in customer service?
Is Jake still there?
Yes, but he did not wear the khaki pants
I was
today.
gonna say from State Farm. Jake, what are you wearing tonight?
Khakis.
Okay. So it looks like we have a call for February 19th at 6:30 p.m.
Okay.
I believe that is what we had talked about previously in the chat.
Yes.
Secretary, can you please hold that vote for us?
Currently taking a drink.
Well, I only
Sorry,
asked
it
at
was-
the most inconvenient
The
times.
parts from all the reading and typing. I apologize. I will go down the list again. Royce, what do you say?
Yeah, that works for me.
All right. Liz.
Yeah, sure.
Okay. Ginger.
I.
Jackson.
Yeah.
All right. Ethan.
You better believe it.
I, as secretary, say aye. And Carl.
Aye.
All right.
Okay.
There you have it. The votes are in.
Vote is 7-0-0. Okay.
Huzzah!
Guys, we're good at this. All right.
We
would
are
really
so
appreciate-
prepared for this meeting.
We're
If
killing
each-
this.
I know we're recording, but I'd appreciate if each individual response was recorded. But
We could
Well,
do
when it's all unanimous, it doesn't matter. But yes, if there's any dissent, it should be who is dissenting.
Still
Aye.
typing here.
Okay. Is there anything else to talk about?
You have a note about belt favors in there. They want to get rid of them and sell them at Dungeon.
Yes, I don't believe this is a BOD item, actually.
Yeah, that's up to them and the peeps running the dungeon. So
Agreed.
has he reached out to dungeon folk? I mean,
I did reach out. I have not received a message back.
yeah, he should have reached out to you.
Yeah. It was a message of if they want to send someone, I'd be willing to assist
Gotcha.
by letting them have it. You know. And I hear lots of typing.
Who's got the mechanical keyboard?
Sorry, I was
that would
late.
be Liz.
Okay.
Just wanted to let everyone know on the record that I did reach out. Still open, and we still got time, I guess, until the day of. Nothing further. I apologize.
No worries.
Perfect. No,
Thank
that's
you.
kind of all we were looking for. Are there any other items that people would wish to address about item number 2 here concerning FOG, final documentation, or any of those other items? Okay, should we, I guess, table the rest of this until February? Is anybody, can I have a second first?
What are we? Yeah, table it up.
Basically just to finish out, like, can we close this
Second.
item, I guess I'm saying.
Second!
Okay, perfect. Are there any opposed?
None.
Okay, perfect. Moving on to item number 3. Directors and Officers Insurance. Talon, as the previous liaison. Have you turned this over to Dash yet?
No, he hasn't.
Regarding the D&O insurance, what I can tell you is I, in general, did not get very far because I need a lot of numbers. Namely, I need how much is the populace willing to spend and how much coverage do we hope to have. But once that is done, then I recommend using Francis L. Dean, who has specific experience with insurance for LARPs.
Okay.
Am I spelling this correctly? Francis L. Bean?
Will you PM me that?
Dean, D-E-A-N. D as in dog.
Will you PM me that info, Talon?
So we need numbers on number of participants.
I meant the info to
broken
reach
down
out
by
to
age.
France. I meant the information to
Yeah.
to get
Yeah,
in
that's
touch with
like the
Francis.
name of the association, the name of the company.
Okay.
And they have stuff online, but yeah, you need the breakdowns of number of our participants by age, and as well how much coverage we want, and proportional to how much is the all thing willing to approve spending.
Okay.
So it sounds like it needs to go to an all thing, or it needs to get.
That had been my conclusion for a little bit.
Yeah, there are kind of two ways to handle that. One, which is I am going to be pushing for later, I believe in this meeting, I talked about it, us to push another annual cost expectancy for Westmarch. That's what we did last year, and it allowed us just kind of get a bunch of expenses pre-approved by the kingdom, like our IT expenses and things like that. We just did one all thing at the beginning of the year saying, here's what the baseline expenses are going to be for the year. We could potentially add it in there. Because it's such a new item, I would not recommend it in that fashion, but it is an option. I would recommend an independent.
Like you could just sneak it into the annual budget, but emphasis on sneak it in.
Yeah, that's why I think that there is enough information here. And, as much as we would love everybody to attend these BOD meetings to talk about this exact topic, we know that our population doesn't. And so therefore it would be better to actually, bring this up, allow people to discuss it, give the relevant information, and allow it to be its own item on an all thing. Speaking of, quickly, Liz, I believe all thing items are due the 25th of January, 24th.
Let me double check here, because I think I need to post it to the populace 2 weeks before. I think I need to post it on the 20th. So that people have 2 weeks to discuss, and then we vote the week of the 3rd. Does that sound right?
Or am I proposals are due 2 weeks ahead of time, and you post it a week before. You give them a week deadline.
Yes. And the interesting thing is it's actually from the actual vote is over the weekend, but we give a week of it. So the actual requirement is to have it up the 24th, send it to all the PMs, and then the actual vote. Oh, it's weird because February starts on a Saturday.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's supposed to be Monday to Monday though, so that's why I was thinking it's supposed to be the 3rd.
And as well, if you give everybody 2 weeks notice, you can put it whenever you want. Because as long as you give 2 weeks notice, you don't have to include the push this off until later option. And you can just say that you canceled the one that was being held on February 1st and you're holding it on February 8th instead.
You have to have it the first week of the month.
But the Monarchs and PM jointly just decide to not hold one if there's nothing.
But there isn't nothing.
And
no, I get what you're saying, but so what you're saying is that they would add a second holding in the month, and that comes in under a different set of kind of rules.
Yeah.
So, yeah, let me quickly.
I mean, the budget can't even go probably until the all thing in March because we're still waiting on numbers for stereotype, which are used in the annual budget.
No, because this is the proposal for next year's budget, and it does not include events because events are completely separate. It covers the things like our IT expenses, our expected IT expenses for the year, so we can just get those approved, right at the get-go.
They're right at the top.
We added.
They're right at the top.
But that is a separate topic. I'm going to table that whole thing because I do think we talk about it later. I'm just kind of trying to figure out if we need to get more of an D&O insurance on this all thing, which is the current topic at hand.
We don't have the numbers to get it in as an actual proposal. We would need to do another one of those survey types, which we don't get a lot of traction with. So it doesn't always give us good data.
Could we request the info that's needed from the land PMs?
We could pull that via report. That's not the hard part. The hard part is like if we're going to spend a crap ton of money, we need to document it and get it out to the people so that they understand what we're trying to do with their
I
money.
think if you emphasize the fact that we're spending $1,000, you might get a bigger response out of people than if, hey, we just need X information. It's, can we spend $1,000 on this?
Yeah, so I've kind of finished looking through the Kapora. So it is at least 2 weeks in advance, and it is the first weekend of the month. It says the first weekend, so that would actually push things due by the 18th, which is this Saturday. So that way Liz could, officially set up the all thing. So there's definitely no way we're going to get this done by then. So I believe, if I was following the conversation correctly, then we are saying that Talon is going to, send this information over to our new liaison, Ginger. We are going to work on this, but it is not going to be done for the February Alding, and we'll look at potentially putting something together for the March Alding. In the meantime, we might be reaching out to the populace to get, poll and information. Or, am I capturing that correctly?
That sounds about right.
Okay. Do we have anything else we would like to discuss on this topic of directors and officers of insurance for January? The silence is deafening. Shall we move along?
Yep.
Seconded.
Perfect. Anybody opposed?
Table it. Yeah.
Silence. Perfect. Okay. Now, item number 4. Should Westmarch have an emergency management plan? Milan volunteered to be our emergency management plan. We already have everything else.
Permission to speak briefly on this.
Please speak boisterously.
Okay, thank you. In the December meeting, it was mildly decided that this really wasn't necessary. It was also unnecessary because we had our safety statement and the DEI, as well as our articles of incorporation and everything else. I said I would love to just make one regardless, just to cover our own bases. After speaking with the IRS, I'm going to just make one. I'll submit it to the BOD for review because I think we're going to have to submit one anyways.
Why?
I wish I could share my screen, but give me 1 second here. I apologize that I'm not prepared. We are in the process of going to a 501c3. We received a request for more information on our Form 1023, which is transitioning from a 501c7 to a 501c3.
Gotcha.
And there is a laundry list of questions they've asked. I felt that it would be a beneficial thing, an emergency management plan to include, simply because I'm just trying to get approved. And if I dump enough information on them, they will leave us alone and give us an approval. That's my belief.
Okay, so I can actually attest to that with the IRS. I just met with the taxpayer the other day. They gave me 2 trash bags worth of stuff, and this leads into it to review because their tax person told them do the same thing to the IRS, and they did in the past. And the IRS went, "Well, this is too much stuff for us to deal with, so you're good."
Go away. This is correct. Okay.
Okay. So it sounds like the action here is, Milan, you are still planning to work on one of these, and it will help with the 501c3 paperwork, which I believe we talked about in item 8.
That is correct, and I will submit it to the BOD for review and rubber stamp before anything is made official, obviously.
Okay. Yeah, we still trust you with most of this.
He still has all the files, so we should hope so.
Okay. Are there anything else to discuss about item number 4 and an emergency management plan? Shall we move along?
Follow up in February.
Second.
Okay, we will follow up.
Kick that can.
Okay, is anybody opposed to moving along?
No.
No.
Second.
Perfect. Second opposing? Okay. Item number 5. Incident form. Do we have any movement on this? We have a PDF and a digital submission form, and we did this thing, I think. And then we had to contact JotForm to make sure it can't be edited on the back end. I believe, if I remember correctly in this meeting, it was because it allowed people to submit something. A copy of that was sent to the Kingdom email, but it then allowed somebody to go in and edit. I think it was the Kingdom could go in and edit. Was that what came out?
Yeah, so it appears as though the form that is submitted, while it is a great form and it does work well, it is possible for the receiver of the complaint form to go and edit the original so that there is no
paper
base
trail.
one. So I don't know if Milan reached out to the Jot form that we were using or not about that, but
Who holds our JotForm account? Is that Milan?
it's not an account. Jotform is a free hosting.
I'm going to jump in again, and I apologize. That has been fixed. I did forward an approved JotForm, an updated JotForm response to the Westmarch AmpGuard Gmail inbox, which is where all responses go. I do not have access to that inbox. If you look at the most recent JotForm submission, and anybody else can do the submission, we do have the link. I'll drop the link in the chat right now. It is fixed as far as I know.
Okay, I don't know, and I don't see the updated version in the Westmarch inbox and nor in the spam.
Well, it was sent about a month ago, to be fair.
Yeah, I looked back for the old one, and there's still the old one, but I don't see an updated one.
I'm going to submit one right now. How about that?
That would be perfect. Thank you very much.
For the recordings, how is that spelled? Jot?
J-O-T.
Jotform.
Thank you very much. Just needed for the record. I appreciate everyone.
Okay. And you have a link, which I will add to the meeting notes.
Thank you.
I just clicked report. Please feel free to check the Westmarch inbox, and I hope it has been repaired. I did speak with JotForm customer service when making the update.
Alrighty, I will be refreshing that until I see it appear in the inbox.
And for the record, anybody can create a Jot form. This form was just one that was created, and all reports go directly and only to the Westmarch AmpGuard inbox. Anybody can create their own at any point in time.
Is it linked anywhere but here? Does it come from CA AmpGuard?
We haven't pushed it live yet.
Because we're waiting on this fix. Got it.
Yeah.
I can add it to CA AmpGuard as soon as you want me to. Or you can just add it to the Westmarch BOD page on the wiki again, like Milan has been.
And also, Milan, just making sure that the one that you just sent through was meant to be completely blank, correct?
No, I put test on it.
Oh, that's not great.
I think I found an issue because I just got the response to my personal email inbox. That may be why you're not getting it.
Maybe it wasn't fixed.
Additional testing is required.
I'm going to put a screenshot into the chat. It should be going to Westmarch. But if you haven't gotten the email yet, obviously there's an issue.
Okay, so that issue was fixed. Additional issues have been uncovered. Um, but I get what is the BOD action here? Because this is a report form really to notify the monarchy of just something has happened. That's in addition to the COC. So if you don't think it's necessarily COC, but you still want to notify the monarchy, this form is available.
So this should be a monarchy thing, is what you're saying, not a BOD thing.
Yeah, I'm guessing. I obviously, if anything does come up that is a BOD issue, I would expect monarchy to reach out to the BOD and let us know.
Once we become a 501c3, I believe the BOD has to be involved in COC incidents.
Oh my God.
And as well, any incident report is the source of liability, so the BOD needs to be involved and aware of that.
Well, that's a whole series of different facets of issues. So,
oh my God.
one of them, which I talked about, is first off, technically as a mutual benefits corporation, to rescind somebody's membership to the corporation, it would require BOD action. The way we kind of do it right now is we ban them from the game and then let their membership lapse. So in theory, a banned person could show up to these BOD meetings, for example, until their membership lapses. Then there's also the item that the monarchy is actually BOD members. So by notifying the monarchy, you are notifying at least a few members of the BOD. If they feel like it needs to be escalated to the full BOD, I would expect them to. I believe that is a sufficient answer.
I think that this item, could stand for being in the monarchy until we get our 501c3 issues ironed out. Because until that time, we aren't CYA in a 501c3 fashion.
Potential.
Yeah.
We all know there's going to be a lot of work to realign various bylaws that we have right now with the new 501c3 bylaws that we will have to bring online.
Draft. Yeah.
So. Okay. Is there anything else about this topic?
No.
Oh, perfect. Shall we move along to the next topic?
Yes, please.
Is anybody opposed? Moving on to the next topic. No. Okay. Item number 6. December. There's another item from December. Food safety requirements. So let's table this and talk about potentially having this for events, maybe just the feast steward. Let's not set the precedent for sales of things that is not a priority, then we won't have to put in concern. It looks like it was deemed not a requirement.
It's not a requirement unless you're selling food.
Yeah, unless we're making a profit. It's not required for anyone to have a food handler's card.
And we're not selling the food for profit. It's just part of the event ticket. It's a very gray area. Also,
Jackson, check the inbox now. Sorry to interrupt.
No worries.
It's all good, Brian. You're allowed to interrupt as needed.
Also, it's one more hurdle to getting volunteers, and we already have a problem getting volunteers. So if the feast steward has a food safety cert, they should be pouring that downhill too. But a food safety cert is easy peasy. It's not hard. It's $50 and 4 to 8 hours. I forget.
I just looked at SafeServe, and for California, it's $10.
Yep. That's
the online class and the test.
That's just to get the server one, which is probably all we need. But again, having it brings us to liability issues again. It's like, it's that. So if you have the food safety cert, you need to be very stringent on your guidelines, and we are not as a whole. So.
And specifically, if we had individuals serving food and we didn't require it for every single volunteer. Then it goes into the gray area of we would need a manager serve safe instead, which is like $180 and requires more of a test.
Yep.
Yeah.
I think it is a great thing to talk about, but it is not required as long as we are not selling food. If any individuals wish to sell food, like we have with vendors with leatherworking and stuff like that, yes, those should be certified.
I would argue the counterpoint that technically by charging for a feast ticket, we are selling food.
So we're not selling food. We are selling access to the event, which has food.
Well,
When we sell a feast ticket, it's not for profit. You are literally just covering the cost of the food. Sometimes not
Yes.
even.
This is
but
a
technically a sale in California is defined as the transfer of tangible personal property
Yeah.
between two
You're correct on
individuals.
that. You're correct on that.
So if I remember correctly, when I looked into this a little while ago, there was actually a whole thing about whether or not we were a food service or something like that, because that's the only groups that are actually required to have these food safe, certs, and we are not. When I dug into that, it was like a food facility had to have them, and we are not qualified as a food facility. It comes down to like, because I remember digging into this, but it was like 2 months ago now, so I'm a little fuzzy on the details.
Yeah, because I dug into it at the same time as you, because we talked back and forth at the meeting about it.
Yeah.
I don't know too much, but I remember my neighbors back in the day how they'd hold these big old ragers and they'd sell a cup, and people would then walk in and then proceed to get sloshed. So I know like legally there's I think this is a loophole that people have been using a long time.
Mm-hmm. And also, yeah, there's all kinds of loopholes to the food safety cert. It's like it's all obviously safe food safety, and we want our food to be safe. But it's also, you open a whole can of worms trying to get your whole volunteer crew food safety certed, plus you open yourself up to liability.
To be fair, we could just require that these staff wear the gloves and cert.
Exactly. Like, just follow if you're running feast, make sure your volunteers are being safe.
Wouldn't be a bad idea.
Don't lick the spoon.
Look into like, hey, is there a quick and short, dirty checklist or something like that we can put up in kitchens?
Yeah,
I think I know who I can hit up for that.
Wash your hands, wear the gloves, don't lick the spoon.
Mm-hmm.
If it hits the ground, throw it away.
Yeah, but then also just maybe things like, hey, if you're cooking pork, it should be this temperature. You're cooking beef, it should be this temperature. Chicken, they're little shorthands that someone who doesn't know what they're doing can quickly look at and go, oh yeah, I should probably do that.
They shouldn't be running feast then, though.
Probably not. But hey, we're just being, I'm just thinking.
Yeah. So
yeah. It's a California food facility, and I think we do not meet the definition of a food facility. Is what it comes down to.
I think we need a facility.
I think we also need to be there for more than 1 weekend every 6 months.
Actually, strangely enough, no. But that is a whole other thing.
Yeah, that's like pop-ups. It covers pop-ups and other things. So,
okay.
I think that
do we have any actions for 6?
I think that
I have an action.
Go ahead.
I'm very sorry for interrupting again. Jackson, are you editing it by hitting reply or forward?
No, there's an option at the bottom of my page to edit this submission.
I think that's just coming with the. All right, I'll keep working on it.
If you press the button, can you actually edit it?
I was able to last time, and let me click it again, and let me do it again. And yes, I can edit all the information.
Oh, perfect.
Cool.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay, did we have anything for number 6?
Motion to close.
Yeah, motion to close it until it becomes a problem. Second that.
Sorry, I had to mute for a second. I asked somebody that's both an AmCard member and a professional chef in the kitchen if they could provide us a best practices list.
I am also willing to lend the same as a former professional chef who still has the manager serve safe, and I'm going to be at all the major events. At least I hope to be.
Okay. So we'll look into getting a best practices list that we can follow, but it does not appear that we need to have the full certification at this time.
Correct.
Is there anything else for item number 6?
Motion to close.
Okay, we've had a motion to close. Is anybody
Seconded.
opposed? Okay. Sounds good. We will move on to item number 7 then.
Should probably
Number
have people
7.
vote.
Sorry, what was that?
You should probably have people vote on the motion we just made for 6.
Oh, fair enough. Secretary, can you run us an official vote on this, please?
Yes, I can do that for everyone. Can I get Royce? What is your vote?
Aye.
Liz, what is your vote?
Aye.
Ginger, what is your vote?
Aye.
Jackson, what is your vote?
Aye.
Ethan, what is your vote?
Aye.
Secretary, that is aye. I say aye. And Carl,
Aye.
that is it for the votes. That sounds unanimous. 7-0-0. I yield the
Perfect.
floor.
Thank you very much. I will close that item. Perfect. Okay. Now I believe we can move on to item number 7. Does anybody else has anything you want to talk about on item number 6? Okay, perfect. Item number 7. Westmarch event audit form, records and reviews. And then we get the opinion of the board to whether or not we did the right thing.
What?
Milan, what is this?
Okay, so that's kind of like a follow. I talked to him about this the other day. It's a follow-up form after events, basically like what could be done better, etc. It's also not an audit form because there's no verification of what happened in it.
A
So
good,
that's-
bad,
I
ugly
made
for the
adjustments
pop
to that.
list? For the pop list or for the board?
I'm going to upload the file right now of the working Westmarch audit form. It's basically after each event. It's the Westmarch post-event review form
That's that Excel
as per
spreadsheet, right?
Theos's recommendation. I just put it into the chat if you want to open it up. In my opinion, this is something that perhaps the BOD could utilize at the end of each event and have the event stewards fill out just to keep better track of records and to prevent the issues that we've been having with events.
Yeah, this is extra weird because like the VOD technically doesn't have power to review events. Okay, let me see if I can share this appropriately without messing everything up. Okay. Here we go. Here is our post-event review form as helpfully provided by Milan. I will zoom in a little bit for everybody. So it has the name of the event, date, and the date of the event, the location, who ran the event, total attendance, the breakdown of the types of attendance, financial summary, in a few line items, the event expense breakdown, and then the event documents, the receipts, the event bid, the attendance records.
So is this just like a template that they should be filling out to give to us in that 45 days, or is this something different?
Yes.
Okay.
It's something that every event steward should give at the end, and then future event stewards can look at this as a template of what things should cost, what spent, what worked, what didn't work, and we can just host this on CAMCard, and we never have to worry about it ever again.
Gotcha. So this is to prevent what's happening now, and
yes,
if people don't have Excel skills or whatever, this gives them an idea of what they need to provide to the board.
This would be along with Dame Olana's Excel
That
spreadsheet.
right thing, that thing was beautiful. Don't let me touch it.
So one other thing I am kind of noticing, just like quickly checking this versus Kapora alignment, right? So the Kapora alignment is all about, primarily, I should say, the account of income and expenses with receipts must be provided, and then Westmarch assets being properly returned and maintained. So there's nothing on here right now about Westmarch assets being returned and maintained. So maybe that'd be an item to add here.
Okay. Add that to your notes.
The other thing is while the BOD could request that an autocrat does this, they actually wouldn't need to because there's nothing in the Kapora that says they need to. So my other recommendation here would actually be adding an Alding to bring this before the kingdom to say, hey, we should amend the Kapora to say we should use this form that covers these items to be done with this.
And are we going to carrot stick that all thing, or are you just going to say, hey, this is the guidelines?
Well, right now in the Kapora, it just says shall be done. It doesn't say anything about
Right.
Failure to do so. So the first would just be like, would we even use such a form?
Would the
And then the second is should there be a punishment? I think personally, I'm going to say from my personal opinion, the monarchy should be allowed to kind of handle this as needed because there could be various extenuating circumstances that may make an autocrat not be able to finish something in 45 days. But there is nothing preventing monarchy right now from going, hey, this person technically violated Kapora, and therefore we want to apply XYZ punishment. The punishment doesn't have to be a banning. It could just be like they're not allowed to host an event for 2 years or whatever.
Go get your rose for hosting.
You don't get your rose for hosting the event, whatever it is. Exactly. Because I believe it is already covered somewhere, although I have to look at the exact wording about not following. Actually, I'm not sure if there's something about not following the Kapora for an individual. I know there is for lands. But events are very interesting overall because they are selected by the monarch and the regent. All of the account expenses are basically owned by the autocrat for the duration of their time. The BOD has no real purview other than the contracts part of the event. So, if there's any contracts that need to go into place. But the BOD has really no purview over the event right now in the Kapora. I'm not saying that's how it has to be. I'm saying that's how it is right now.
And we're stepping our foot in for reasons because we're becoming a 501c3. Because why? Because
it makes the accounting easier for the 501c3 stuff
if it comes through the BOD.
Yes.
Also, the oversight of the organization and how it operates is in the purview of a board of directors.
Correct.
Oversight, yes. Changes, no.
Gotcha.
Yeah. And
so I motion we add what was it, Sebastian? You needed added to this? I like the form.
What is the maintenance and returning of equipment?
Okay.
Also, just though, at the current time with the specific wording of our Compora, there is no imposed punishment, so it would have to be.
Yeah, we went over that.
Yeah, it's
Still.
So right now, I also agree. Yes, this is a great form. It should be used. Requirement though, we would have to change the wording of our Compora specifically for both events.
Or we could put it in all things to add this to.
And I'm in no way saying this document is correct or anything like that. Please make it right, make it fit the Kapora and etc. like that. Hopefully this is just a template that can be applied eventually to be used properly.
Yeah. No, I definitely like the start of it. And I highly encourage our Prime Minister looking at you to feel free to use this as much as they want to buff autocrats around the ears until they get what they need. Because it just says that they have to be provided to that the expenses have to be provided to the prime minister. The prime minister, from my reading of that, then basically gets to say what form they are willing to accept it in. Okay, and then there is are we recommending adding an Alding?
You want to put this one on the next all thing?
Number 7.
Yes, we're still working on number 7.
Is this
Thank you.
So currently, until we've looked it over and edited it, and Milan, thank you again for making it. But if we are going to present this as an all thing item, it should go through editing before then, correct?
Absolutely.
So I would not say on the next all thing, but this can be tabled for next month so that we could then possibly present an edited version, an updated version as an all thing item.
Fair enough. Does the BOD need to re-review this next month, is what we're saying?
Review an updated version, yes.
Who's going to be doing the updated version?
Milan, do you have anyone else that is helping you write out this form?
I have been asking Royce to assist me. I've also commonly asked James and Ethan to help me, but I'm willing to accept volunteers.
Okay.
And I'm happy to assist in making the document accurate. Just tell me what needs to be done and I'll get it done.
Alrighty.
Okay. Are there any voting items on this? I'm not seeing any. I don't think we have
Table
anything
for
to-
February. That's the voting item.
Okay. Is anybody opposed to tabling this for February? I'm just going to do a roll call for a
No,
quick vote.
no opposed.
No.
no?
Perfect. It has been tabled to February. I'm sure I need to record that. Okay, now the one we've all been waiting for, the 501c3 update. I believe this is you, Milan. Is that correct?
I gotta go. Bye.
Well, it turns out Milan has. No.
Well, there's a part that I have after this, after he does this update.
Do you want to just do it now, Royce?
We can. I'm requesting that Milan be named special liaison to the IRS for this because he has a contact he's been working with there.
I second that motion.
Do you want to do another vote call?
Grab your correct name here.
I think the easier vote would be, does anyone oppose appointing Milan to special liaison position?
That works too. No opposings. I do not hear any oppositions.
Wonderful.
Milan, are you willing to accept that responsibility before we go and enforce it upon you?
That's very kind of you to phrase it that way. I actually was hopeful that I would get that privilege, and it is a privilege, and I appreciate it because I would really like to see this all the way through. I'm also going to post what the IRS believes is Westmarch, and I am the agent for all of Westmarch already legally, so suck it.
Which also means that's another piece of paperwork you should probably update, doesn't it?
Yes.
That's correct, yes. But to be fair, it couldn't be updated until literally today. So, there you go.
Hooray.
But yes, I would like to be the special liaison because there's an individual named Jeff Flynn. I believe he's Jeff Flynn the second. I'll drop his phone number into chat just for the record. Please do not call him and harass this individual. He's being incredibly kind to us. He went through everything, and my biggest concern was the finances for our organization when we submitted the 501c3. And he said, no, the finances were fine. And I said nothing else after that because holy cow. I was like, wow, all right, great, moving on. So instead of asking to share the screen, I've got 1 page, 2 page, 3 page, 4 page, 5 page, 6 page, 7 page, 8 pages of questions that he has asked for more information on. I've shared one of the pages with a couple individuals asking for assistance in getting the questions answered. The questions are as briefly followed, and I'm sharing this for public information. I don't want anybody to think, oh, Brian's doing it all by himself, blah, blah, blah. If you want to help, hit me up, please. You're completely involved. Where is?
Well, he's looking for stuff. That's from, I believe, our Secretary of State, Sebastian, because I look at that website all the time for work and I recognize it. So we might want to check them as well if
That's
not
BizFile. That's where we file taxes. Yep. The BOD will have to file taxes in February. There's an SOP on how to file taxes on the AmpedWiki Westmarch BOD site. It's very easy to do. Doesn't cost a penny. Don't spend any money to do it. So, I'll just read a couple of the questions here. And it's, are you a member of the U.S. Olympic Committee? Are there any requirements your athletes must meet to participate in your activities or competitions? If you provide training programs for your athletes, describe them.
We don't even require they be athletes.
Is SKBC a training program?
Yeah.
Not run by Westmarch.
Yeah. Are there participants over 18 in your program, and if so, what percentage? How do you advertise your programs? Please describe a description of your programs. The time and resources you spend on recreational or social activities is a percentage of your total activities. So I'm currently on 7 pages of single-spaced. I'm up to 2,723 words, and I'm about 3/4 of the way done. The due date is January 20th. We have lots of time. It's going to be done tonight or tomorrow, honestly. I had a wonderful phone conversation with Jeff Flynn 2 weeks ago and today. And I read him a couple of the answers to my questions. That's a lie. I read one answer to one of my questions. I don't know why I said that. But he said, yeah, that's perfect. That's what we want to see. And I felt really good. So I said, can I submit this to you on the 16th and then have a follow-up conversation on the 17th or the 18th? And he said, yes, that's fine. So I feel very good about this. And when I have the final document completed, I will be sending it to the president of the board of directors for him to do with as he wishes in terms of oversight. That's the information I have at the moment. We don't owe them any money. Please, I'm open for questions.
No questions.
You've wowed us with your brilliance.
Thank you for your dedication to this cause.
Well, I'd like to say thank you to Talon. I'd like to thank Royce. I'd like to thank Ethan and James Anderson for letting me bombard them with questions throughout all of this.
Good job.
Thank you for doing all this work.
But
Even
yeah,
after your watch is over.
That's a lot of squirrels that you had to herd.
I feel really good that we're going to be a C3 quite soon.
Yes.
Okay.
Now, I do believe we have an official vote, which is we do actually have to officially vote on this Brian thing to say they're an agent for us. So.
Did I hear a vote?
Oh, yeah, your favorite thing.
All right, I'm ready.
Agent.
I'm going down the list again. Royce, what do you say?
Aye.
Liz, what do you say?
Okie dokie.
All right. Ginger.
Abso-freaking-lutely.
All right. Jackson.
Roger Dodger.
I'll take that as an I. Ethan.
Yeah, I can live with that.
All right, that's another I. Carl, what do you say?
Aye, Captain.
I accidentally skipped myself. Secretary says I. All right, that's 7-0-0. You have the floor again.
Thank you very much to both you for running that vote and to Brian for doing the work. We appreciate it. It's one less thing I have to do. Okay.
Motion to table till next month. Follow up.
Follow up next month. Yeah.
I know what you're trying to do, Royce, and you can go directly to help.
Do we get to see Milan next month? Hooray!
I think Royce likes voting.
Is anybody opposed? to
It's gonna
pushing this
need
to next month,
follow-up.
or do we? Oh, sorry.
It's just gonna need follow-up next month so we can see what
Yeah,
happened.
we're not
Yeah.
tabling it. We're
Yeah, I don't
just
think we
follow up.
next month. Is there anything else we wish to discuss on this topic? No.
I
Okay.
hear no oppositions.
Perfect. Now, that reaches the end of our regularly scheduled programming. We have a couple of walk-on items that I have thrown on here. I see, Royce, you are potentially already ahead of me on this one.
Budget.
It's in my blood.
The first one here is the 2025 budget. So let me quickly grab the 2024 budget as I believe it was presented. Or is this the old version? Well, this is gonna, just so people are aware, click share. So last year we did, see if I can get that right. Last year we did a 2024 budget. It looks something along the lines of this, where we basically kind of accounted for the major expenses that this year, rather than having to go out to Aldings every month or two to cover various items. So this kind of just gave us a one-time vote to just cover a bunch of items, and whether we were coming out as, you know, discretionary or not. It covered about $100 for web hosting, you know, some additional money for Google storage, the AmpGuard International annual payment of $500, which I know Brian is absolutely opposed to, our iPostal PO box, the filing fees for the 501c3, which we probably won't need to do again this year. Our estimated budgets for the Feast of Gods and Darkshore, although, you know, these are just budgetary numbers. Various estimates for costs of the various feasts for mid-range and coronations, and finally scrolls, and then we kind of estimated our expenses and income. Last year in February or March, we threw this up as an Alving item to get the approval of the kingdom to go, yes, we're approving roughly these numbers, which was very helpful. Now, I see, where did I just save that other document that Royce sent me not 2 seconds ago?
I'd
So
like
it's
to
all-
say thank you to Royce for helping us finish this document last year when he was not a member at all. I sent this to him, this crappy form, and he made it look pretty and made the numbers work.
Yeah, so the reason I'm so heavily pushing the other one that I just posted and I sent to Liz to get her help with the budget is this is in more correct accounting format for budgetary things.
Mm-hmm.
Because normally you'd have income, then you'd have expenses, then you would have owner equity type area, but we don't have that part, so it's just income and expenses.
So we do have that. It's in the PMs folder, but they only record actuals, not projected.
Yeah.
And it covers our, you know, intos and out of the Westmarch account. But this is, you know, kind of our projected budgetary is what it's sounding like.
Yeah. And then there's an actuals tab as well, but
yeah, there is a whole other discussion to potentially be had. It is outside the purview of the BOD, but it is something that we could discuss because we can discuss whatever we want, which is so far, Westmarch have done a very poor job of making our budgets public. You know, the Prime Minister has been able to see it, and obviously the Treasurer has access to the actual accounts to kind of see what's in there. There's nothing preventing us from saying, you know, here's roughly how much is in each thing, but that is really not in the purview of the BOD. So that is up to the monarch and the Prime Minister, I guess, to figure out whether or not they want to reveal those things.
I like the note for the kingdom licensing fee.
I would encourage, because it is one thing that did come up and bit me at the end of my reign, which was listing approximately how much we have in an event account when we're accepting bids would potentially be helpful for people who are trying to submit bids to know how much money they have to work with.
Yep.
That was definitely something that, you know, I maybe should have done better on that one.
I'm not going to say that was on you. A certain item that was brought up as a possible was just well outside of normal event budgeting is what I'll say.
Yeah, but it wasn't until recently that we even posted what the previous bids were. Like, people just had no idea how much events cost. You know, how much did we actually spend? Unless they attended like a BOD meeting like this and actually sat through and like watched this. And even then, I think before Brian, nobody really did these in BOD meetings.
Nope.
So, and they definitely weren't like as consistently recorded and published. Brian has done a very good job on that over the last few years, and I am hoping to not put him to shame, or the other way around, hoping not to fail the work he has started.
I hope that you put him to
Sebastian
shame.
does Sebastian does everything I tried to do 10 times better without trying.
Okay, we'll strike those from the meeting minutes. No, no compliments. No. So
You're correct, Helen.
where was I going with this? I've already lost my train of thought on this.
You
It's
know.
making me blush and forget things. Okay, back to this topic, which is our proposed budget for next year. So the things looking through here, kind of roughly 375 members. Do these numbers kind of look well? I
That
guess my
was
first thing is this last year's or this year's budget?
that's last year's. I cleared it out and gave it to Liz as a template.
Gotcha. Okay, that makes a lot more sense. I was like, all these numbers say 2024.
That's why I said template. Sorry.
Gotcha. Okay. So I would highly recommend that we, the BOD, help build this out, working with RPM, and do this again. I think it was a successful exercise last year, and I think it would be potentially helpful.
So that's already kind of taken care of because I sent it to Liz and I told her if she needs help or has questions, let me know and I'll help her fill it out. We talked about this like 3 days ago before I was even the treasurer.
Okay. Perfect. And Liz, I volunteered the entire BOD to assist you in this one.
Damn.
Thanks.
Glad I could help.
Don't let me touch the Excel sheets.
I can't touch the Excel sheet anymore either because my school account ran out, so I had to make it into a Google sheet.
I can't touch those either. They break.
I don't want to give more money to Microsoft, so I don't have a subscription either.
I bought it once in 2016.
I
Thought
was
I
just
did.
piggybacking off of it from my school for
The
free for almost
spirit
a
of a
decade.
rose. The spirit of a rose, Milan.
I'd rather get a rose than a line.
So the rose.
Well, Milan, I will unofficially right now give you your first order of spirit of the rose.
Wait, this is not monarchy? BODs cannot considered monarchy?
Can you give me
Oh,
a kiss from a rose?
Whoa.
Ooh. We're derailing once again. Let's get back to the topics at hand, please.
okay. So
are we filling this out tonight? Are we waiting for
no,
Liz
we
to
are
give
not
us?
filling this out
Okay.
tonight.
We're
There
waiting for
are
Liz
a
to
couple
give
of
us.
things. So I'm actually going to quickly pull up just one other. Where did I just put this? So there are two items here. One is the 2025 budget, and the other one is the 2024 taxes for this. Both of these are kind of on the treasurer. Sorry, I'm mumbling. Both of these are kind of on the treasurer. Surprise! Thank you for taking the position. Working with the Prime Minister to help build these items out. Milan has posted the SOP for all of our new BOD members. If you do not know, if you go to the Wiki Amtgard page, and let me just pull this up here real fast. There we go. And you just go to wiki.amtgard.com and you type in something as simple as Westmarch BOD. Our previous president filled in all of our lovely information right here, including our meeting minutes and our players handbooks and incident forms. And one of these includes the BOD handbook, which is extremely helpful, covers a bunch of very useful information for the BOD, like our EIN number and our account information, and kind of everything we need to do to be nice and official. And also on here is the SOP for Westmarch tax submission. As Milan Brian mentioned, it is fairly straightforward. It is about 13 steps to finish.
Okay.
This is something very nice for us.
Thanks, Brian.
So I believe that this is a action for the treasurer to complete. Obviously, the rest of us will help you in this endeavor.
I'll put it on my plans for this weekend then.
Perfect. Yep, should be fairly straightforward. Milan, am I missing anything on this about all of these items?
No, the taxes you just fill out. We're supposed to do a statement of information every 2 years. I recommend doing it every 1 year. It doesn't cost anything. It's easy to do. We did it for 2023 and 2024. Before that, it literally hadn't been done. So please make sure you continue
my
to fill it out.
God.
So that statement of information is super important from like a taxes standpoint, and I will explain why. If you don't keep that statement of information filled out timely and the SOS suspends your corporation, then the board members, the president, and the CEO can become individually liable for any tax liability. It's one of the things that all audits are required to look at to make sure to see who is liable for any tax liability.
Take a look at the tax history for Westmarch. I
Is this
just
going to hurt
dropped it
my
in the group
soul?
chat.
Yes,
What's that?
it's gonna hurt your soul.
It's gonna hurt your soul.
Ooh. Oh God.
See
Yeah.
that statement? See that
Yeah.
statement of delinquency right there?
Wow.
That right there. If it goes to well, this isn't tax. This is Secretary of State. This is the corporation stuff to keep us a corporation.
Yeah.
I have to
I
read
thought
that
it was
crap all
pretty
the time.
funny.
It hurts my soul, but also
That's-
from an auditor, it makes me rub my hands together and go, "Oh yeah, this is going to get put on somebody individually as well as the corporation."
So,
Great.
Royce, we are leaning on you to keep us out of prison. Please and thank you.
Please, I don't look good in orange.
If we are going to prison, I will immediately step down, and it's Dave that you're sending to prison. Just letting
It
you know.
is
Oh,
100%.
that's mean.
But Dad,
I'm going to
you're
point
already
out that like the state at least
Yeah.
is horrifically lax on sending people to prison. They just put the personal liability on the individual members of the
And then they come
like,
after your
for
own personal freaking assets.
assets and money. Yes,
why prison when they can bankrupt you instead?
Exactly.
exactly, indeed.
Okay, I do
Okay.
not believe there are any actions then it sounds like out of these two walk-on items, which and attack. But there's an action to tell Royce to go do the job we just assigned to him.
Yeah, Royce.
Is it done yet?
Not like I didn't expect this to happen.
You signed up for this.
Well, I signed up for this, and I also signed up for the treasurer because I want to get us an actual, like, correct accounting budget for us for the 501c3.
That's nice of you.
It protects us.
Oh, I just
Be-
realized my problem
Oh, yeah.
February
Personally
19th.
liable.
It protects us in multiple ways too, because whereas the
Mhm.
state doesn't really give a crap what you do, the IRS, on the
Yes.
other hand, does, unless you give them trash bags full of information.
Very much so.
Okay, so I believe that we can finish discussion on these walk-on items. Does anybody have additional items we would discuss on these two items?
I'm just curious, are we on that step 2 for the second year? I was curious.
Step 2.
Oh, they've
Yeah.
been doing that every year.
Oh, okay. All right.
So I'm just going to do it. It might require I ask you guys some personal information.
I have no gold. Okay.
Okay.
All right. Sorry. Nothing further.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
So I
There is
will-
one other walk-on item that I think has to be talked about.
Okay, what have I missed?
At some point, I think one of us has to replace the old BOD on the bank account.
Yes, that is you.
Joy. So just at some point, we need to do those. Is that the first one? Then does that cover the meeting that we have to do for that?
There's an SOP on the AmpWiki Westmarch Board of Directors.
You're
Sweet,
right.
I'll read
They
it.
do like that one set of meeting notes. You're right. I forgot about that piece. The
We'll
mini
talk,
meeting.
Royce. We'll talk.
Okay, works for me.
Yeah.
If necessary, we can always convene a special meeting for it.
No, we don't need a special meeting. It's about I have to be at Wells Fargo at the same time you're at a Wells Fargo, and then those Wells Fargo people have to call each other, and then I think you have to sign 2 pieces of paper, and then hopefully that's it.
Would it be easier if I just drove out to the Bay and met you and went to the Wells Fargo with you?
Mine is completely incompetent, so no.
Okay. I figured that way it's just people there.
You do need the special BOD because they like it formatted like this. So you end a meeting, you hold a 5-minute meeting just to sign off on this special form that they like, a special format, and then you end that meeting with that being the only business that was done at that meeting.
Yeah. So
We
let's do
can
that.
try, but when I was doing that with Wells Fargo, they did not care. So we can do it anyways, just to dot our I's and cross our T's. But
we can do that today just in case, that because I don't want to have to, if they do require it this time for some reason, I don't want you guys to have to wait a month. Or until
And
we
get
get
me
items.
banned from Wells Fargo when I yell at them.
Yes, so do it.
Please no.
So quiet. Please don't.
Alrighty. Is there anything else on this item then, at least for the meeting tonight?
Okay, so I think it sounds like we need to have that quick follow-on meeting here real fast for tonight. It'll take 5 minutes to just go through and fill out that one form. I do realize now, as we get to item number 9, that February 19th, I will be driving back into town that day. I knew that day sounded familiar because I will be up doing a recruitment event up in Chico that day. So 6:30 might be a little bit difficult, or we might be having our vice president start that meeting as I am driving back in. Just as an awareness for everybody.
Just in fairness, to give time for Alan to submit those documents, I don't think trying to have him submitted by the 5th would be fair. I know he's had time already, but at least we give him, instead of we give him 4 weeks and saying, hey, you need to do this. Would you be okay with the vice president starting the next meeting?
Yeah, I have no problem. At the what I'm saying is I might be just driving, depending on traffic getting back into the Bay Area.
Or do we want to try for Thursday the 20th instead?
I'm fine with that.
Okay. Sorry for the inconvenience. Do we mind voting to have meeting the Thursday the 20th of February?
Works for me.
Oh,
Seconded.
I heard a voting was going to be put up. So let's go back to the list.
Bear just wants to vote.
We're going to make this interesting. Hey, Royce, what do you say?
Man loves
Aye.
democracy.
All right, I got an aye. Liz, what do you say?
It was my idea, so I.
All right, I got you on that. You never know, might change your mind.
That
But
would be
thank you.
hilarious if I said no, but
I record aye. And Ginger, what do you say?
Aye.
All right, aye. And then Jackson, what do you say?
I say aye. It sounds familiar, but whatever I have, I can probably move it.
Ah, okay. Ethan, what do you say?
Aye.
All right. And then Secretary says aye. And Carl, what do you say?
Aye.
All right. That sounds like 7 ayes and followed by another 0-0 unanimous. You have the
Perfect.
floor.
Thank you all for accommodating my schedule.
Also,
Okay.
if nothing else, I will send someone here to be in Kale cosplay, and they'll try their best.
Okay. Sounds good. Hey, are there any other
I
items?
recommend discussing forum, i.e. not using Milan's Zoom account next month.
That would probably be good.
Yes, but that is also not a BOD thing we can actually do.
Why?
We can't
'Cause
spend
that's-
money.
Yeah, it's spending money. That's a
You can use
PM.
Discord.
So the
Discord
problem-
can't
does not have-
record.
Discord does not have native recording function, so we'd have to use an OBS, which is an option. We talked about this in the BOD chat that I'm now realizing you don't have access to. I'm sorry. So internally, we talked about this. So we did look into the Discord. The problem is that it does not allow recording natively.
My Zoom Pro plan ends on March 4th, 2025, so I can schedule the February meeting.
The other thing is we can look into getting a Zoom plan for the kingdom, or we can ask the Monarch NPM to use the part of their 10% to.
It was $70 a year for me, so just get the Pro
Yeah.
plan. It's $70 discretionary spending.
All right. So
It's probably even easier when we're a 501c3.
Potentially,
And-
but we're not a 501c3 yet.
And also, I think we would probably just buy it outright, and I will allocate part of my 10% for that. But I am okay with confirming that in the next meeting when we are using the end of Milan's gracious hosting.
Okay, so it sounds like we're still planning Milan next month. If you'd be so kind, please.
I will do my very best. I'll schedule the meeting and send the link out. And worst case scenario, I'll give Ethan or Royce my Zoom login.
Excellent.
The password is fluffykittens14.
I really hope that you have your Milan impression ready.
Let's be real, Ethan. We both know it's turtles.
Okay, well, we're on a recorded line, so let's finish up this
Alrighty.
meeting before we actually guess Milan's password. And then we will adjourn to the follow-on meeting to cover the Wells Fargo thing, and then we can be done for the night. Do I have a second for closing this meeting?
Seconded.
Do I have anybody opposed? Okay, thank you very much. And let me figure out where the stop recording